June, Friday. For me, summer break is basically a 3-month guilt trip. Just because the weather's nice, everyone expects you to be outside all day frolicking or whatever. And if you don't spend every second outdoors, people think there's something wrong with you. But the truth is, I've always been more of an indoor person. The way I like to spend my summer break is in front of the TV, playing video games with the lamp off. Unfortunately, Mom's idea of the perfect summer break is different from mine.
You should really let the lamp be on in here.
Mom says it's not natural for a kid to stay indoors when it's sunny out. I tell her that I'm just trying to protect my skin so I don't look all wrinkly when I'm old like her, but she doesn't want to hear it. Mom keeps trying to get me to do something outside like go to the pool. But I spent the first part of the summer at my friend Clementine's pool, and that didn't work out so good. Clementine's family belongs to a country club, and when school let out for the summer, we were going there every single day. Then we made a problem of inviting this person named Paul who just moved into our neighborhood. I thought it would be really nice of us to share a country club lifestyle with him. But 5 seconds after we got to the swimming pool, he met a lifeguard and forgot all about the people who invited him there. I reported all my complaints to Ms. Clementine. But for some reason Ms. Clementine never passed them on to the clubhouse manager. Which is kind of weird. If it was me who was paying for a country club membership, I'd want to make sure I was getting my money's worth. Anyway, a little while later Clementine told me she wasn't allowed to invite me to her pool anymore, which is fine with me. I'm much happier inside my air-conditioned house, where I don't have to check my soda can for bees every time I go to take a sip. Saturday, like I said, Mom keeps trying to get me to go to the pool with her and my younger sister, Daisy, but the thing is, my family belongs to the town pool, not the country club. And once you've tasted the country club life, it's difficult to go back to being of what you feel like at the town pool. Besides, last year I swore to myself that I would never go back to that place again. Sunday, well, now I'm definitely staying indoors for the rest of the summer. Mom had a house meeting last night and said money is tight this year and we can't afford to go to the beach, which means no family vacation. That really stinks. I was actually looking forward to going to the beach this summer. Not because I like the ocean and the sand and all of that, because I don't. I realized a long time ago that all the world's fish and turtles and whales go to the bathroom right there in the ocean. And I seem to be the only person who's bothered by this. My two brothers Caillou and Classic Caillou likes to tease me because they think I'm afraid of the waves. But I'm telling you, that's not it at all. Anyway, I was looking forward to going to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom because I'm finally tall enough to go on the ride Arc, which is this really awesome ride that's at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Caillou's and Classic Caillou's been on the ride Arc at least many times, and they say you can't call yourself a woman until you ride it. Mom said maybe if we save our pennies we can go back to the beach next year. Then she said we'd still do a lot of fun stuff as a family and in the future we'll look back on this as the best summer ever. Well, now I only have 2 things to look forward to this summer. One is my birthday, and the other is when the book The Wonky Donkey comes in the mail. I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but The Wonky Donkey is one of the bad kid books ever. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, here's what came in the mail today. But here's the thing, even though I hate The Wonky Donkey, I can't stop myself from reading it, and Dad can't, either. I guess we just like seeing how bad it is. Look at this garbage.
Give me that.
The Wonky Donkey has been published in 2009, Scholastic New Zealand Limited. The author of this book was Craig Smith, the illustrator of this book was Kat Kelly, and the book cover artist was Cowley. Monday, even though me and Dad see eye to eye on The Wonky Donkey, there are still a lot of things we butt heads over. The big problem between us right now is my sleep schedule. During the summer I like to stay up all night watching TV or playing video games and then sleep through the morning. But Dad gets kind of crabby if I'm still in bed when he gets home from work. Recently, Dad's been calling me at noon to make sure I'm not still asleep. So I keep a phone by my bed and use my best wide awake voice when he calls. I think Dad is jealous because he has to go to work while the rest of us get to kick back and take it easy every day. But if he's gonna be all grumpy about it, he should just become a teacher or a snowplow driver or have one of those jobs where you get to take summers off. Mom's not really helping improve Dad's mood, either. She calls him at work about 5 times a day with updates on everything that's going on around the house.
Guess what Daisy did in the party today? Guess.
Tuesday, I've learned that photo albums aren't an accurate record of what happened in your life, anyway. Last year when we were at the beach, Mom bought a treasure chest with a bunch of diamonds and fancy seashells at a gift shop, and later on I saw her bury them in the sand for Daisy to discover.
Look at what you found, Daisy.
Today Mom told me she was taking me to get a haircut. But I never would have agreed to get my haircut if I knew that Mom was taking me to the barbershop where Dad and Grandpa get their haircut. I have to say, though, the whole barbershop experience wasn't that bad. First of all, they have televisions all over the place, so you can watch a show while you're waiting to get your haircut or during your haircut. Second, they have lots of books. In grocery stores, they have magazines you see in the checkout lines. Mom says those books in barbershops show the hairstyles, and I think that's true. Grandpa is always buying books of hairstyles, even though Dad doesn't approve. A few weeks ago Grandpa wasn't answering his phone, so Dad got worried and drove over to Grandma's and Grandpa's to see if he was okay. Grandpa was okay, but he wasn't picking up his phone because of something he read.
Careless phones like this erase the memory of the elderly.
Where did you get the information from?
But when Dad asked Grandpa where he got his information, Grandpa said,
I got the information from the New York Times.
Grandma's and Grandpa's dog passed away lately, and ever since then Grandpa has had a lot of time on his hands. So Dad's dealing with stuff like the cordless phone thing a lot these days. Whenever Dad finds any books of hairstyles at Grandma's and Grandpa's house, he takes them home and throws them in the garbage. Last week I fished one out of the trash and read it in my bedroom. I'm glad I did. I found out that North America will be underwater within 6 months, so that kind of takes the pressure off me to do well in school. I had a long wait at the barbershop, but I didn't really mind. I got to read a book of hairstyles and see the pictures of the hairstyles in the book of hairstyles, so I was absolutely entertained. When I got my hair cut, I found out the best thing about the barbershop, which is the shampoo. The guys who work there know everyone can use any type of shampoo in this world.
Since you chose this hairstyle on this book of hairstyles, I will cut your hair to make this hairstyle.
Okay. When he was done cutting my hair, I was done reading this book of hairstyles. I hope my hair won't grow to that hairstyle again that I had before my new hairstyle right now. Friday, so this is my new hairstyle that I got since Tuesday at the barbershop where Dad and Grandpa get their hair cut. I think Mom's starting to apologize taking me to get my hair cut since Tuesday. The guys at the barbershop introduced me to new kinds of shampoos, and now I'm totally hooked. Yesterday I was in the middle of watching a show, and Mom told me I had to turn off the TV and find something else to do. I could tell there was no use arguing with her. Tuesday, yesterday on Monday, Mom lectured me about how girls my age watch too many inappropriate movies and play video games all day, and that we don't know what real entertainment is. I just stayed silent, because I wasn't sure exactly where she was going with all this. Then Mom said that she was gonna start a club called Reading is Fun for the girls who was in the same classroom with me, Caillou, and Classic Caillou, so she could teach us about all the great literature we were missing out on. I begged Mom to just give me a regular punishment instead, but she wouldn't budge. So today was the first meeting of the club, Reading is Fun. I felt kind of terrible for all the girls whose parents made them come. I was just glad Mom didn't invite little Bill and other troublemakers, this weird little Bill who lives up the street, because he's been acting stranger than usual recently.
Wanna hear about my hygiene issues?
I'm starting to think maybe little Bill's a little creepy, but luckily he doesn't really leave his front yard during the summer. I think his family must have an electrical fence around their backyard or something. Anyway, Mom told everyone to bring their favorite book to today's meeting so we could pick one and discuss it. All the girls laid their books on the table, and everyone seemed pretty happy with the selection. Mom said the books we brought were fiction books and that we were gonna have to start with the first Pete the Cat book, the Pigeon series book, Llama Llama book, and No David book. Those books like those she read when she was a young kid. But those weren't the same book series. See, in last summer, it was my old hairstyle and I didn't get glasses yet back then. I borrowed a book from the library, and then I forgot all about getting it and then I got nervous when I started to read it. I must have owed about many dollars in late fees on that thing. In fact, I get nervous if I even see a librarian.
Is that you, Doris?
Yeah, it's been such a long time.
I asked Mom if we could get another chance to pick out a book on our own, and she said we could. We're supposed to meet again tomorrow and bring our new selections with us. Wednesday, well, the membership of the club, Reading is Fun, took a big hit overnight. 3 girls including me already signed up for this club, and the last meeting, all 3 girls including me were there at the last meeting that we had, but this meeting, there's only 2 girls here including me. For today's meeting, 3 books were chosen. The book I chose for today's meeting was I Lived Inside a Whale, and the book Clementine chose for today's meeting was The Truth About the Couch. Anyway, when the club meeting was over, Mom said that she was gonna use her veto power as the club, Reading is Fun, for this club's founder and choose the book for me. So she chose this book called Dragons Love Tacos, which this book has been around for at least 12 years, which it would have been the year 2012. The plot of this book follows a young boy, who wants to hold a taco party for dragons. Friday, well, only one person for today's meeting for the club, Reading is Fun, is only me for today's meeting for the club, and we did it in the kitchen because there was only one person here for today's meeting. Yesterday Clementine went golfing or something with his dad, so she sort of hung me out to dry. I didn't do my reading assignment, and I was really counting on her to cover for me at the meeting. It's not really my fault that I couldn't finish my reading assignment, though. Mom changed her mind that she told me I had to read in my room for 40 minutes yesterday. After Mom caught me horsing around, she banned me from watching TV until I read the book. So last night I had to wait until she went to bed before I could get my entertainment fix. The way I will solve the problem was by making a trail of clothes and other stuff all the way from my bedroom down to the living room. This morning Dad tripped over a dictionary I left at the top of the stairs, so now he's angry at me. But I'll take Dad being mad over the alternative any day of the week. Sunday, today was my deadline for finishing the book, Dragons Love Tacos. When Mom found out I wasn't done yet, she said we were gonna sit down at the kitchen table until I was finished. About 30 minutes later there was a knock at the front door, and it was Clementine. I thought maybe she was coming back to the club, Reading is Fun, but when I saw that his dad, Mr. Clementine, aka Mr. Smith, was with her, I knew something was up. Mr. Smith had an official-looking piece of paper with the country club logo on it. He said it was a bill for all the waters and smoothies me and Clementine ordered at the clubhouse, and the grand total was $15. All those times me and Clementine ordered drinks at the clubhouse, we just wrote down Mr. Smith's account number on the tab. I still didn't really understand what Mr. Smith was doing at my house. I think he's an architect or something. So if he already has zillions of money and has gotten $15 already, he can just design an extra building. He talked to Mom, though, and they both agreed that me and Clementine needed to pay off the tab. I told Mom me and Clementine are just kids and it's not like we have salaries or careers or whatever. But Mom said we were just gonna have to be creative. Then she said we would have to suspend the Reading is Fun's meetings until we paid what we owned. Tuesday, me and Clementine racked our brains all day yesterday trying to figure out how to pay off that $15. Clementine said maybe I should just go to the ATM and withdraw some money to pay off her dad. The reason Clementine said that is because she thinks I'm rich. A couple of years ago during the holidays, Clementine came over and we had just run out of toilet paper at my house. My family was using these Christmas cards as a substitute until Dad got to the store again. Clementine thought the Christmas cards were some sort of really different sizes of toilet paper. But get this, the Yellow Pages people told us it was gonna cost us a few $1,000s to put our ad in the book. I told them that didn't make a lot of sense to me, because how's someone supposed to pay for an ad if they haven't even earned any money yet? Me and Clementine realized we were gonna need to do this a different way, and make our own ads. I figured we could just get some books and put them in every mailbox in our neighborhood. All we needed was some words to get us started. So we went down to the corner store and bought one of those books women get each other on their birthdays. Then we scanned it into Clementine's computer and pasted words from the book. After that we got some words and put it all together onto the book. I will need to say, it looked great. I figured it would cost us at least a few $100s in color ink cartridges and paper to make enough flyers for the whole neighborhood if we were gonna do the VIP lawn service on the cards, but we made the books for the whole neighborhood instead. So we asked Clementine's dad if he'd go out to the store and get us all the stuff we needed. Mr. Smith didn't go for it. In fact, he told us we couldn't use his computer or print out any more copies of our book. I was a little shocked by that, because if Mr. Smith wanted us to pay him back, he wasn't making it easy. Then me and Clementine went around from house to house showing everyone our book and telling them about the VIP lawn service. After we hit a couple houses, we realized it would be a lot simple to just ask the next person we spoke with to pass the book along so me and Clementine wouldn't have to do all that walking. Now the only thing we have to do is sit back and wait for the phone calls to start rolling in. Thursday, me and Clementine waited around all day yesterday, but we didn't get any calls. I was starting to wonder if we should try to find some cards too for the VIP lawn service, and we already have books for the VIP lawn service. Then, at about 11 a.m., we got a call from Ms. Augusta, who lives on Grandma's and Grandpa's Street. She said her lawn needed mowing, but she wanted to check our references before she hired us. I used to do lawn work for Grandma, so I called her up and asked if she could call Ms. Augusta and tell her what a good worker I am. Well, I must have caught Grandma on a terrible day, because she really lit into me. She said I left piles of leaves on her lawn last autumn and now there were patches of dry grass all over her yard. Then she asked me when I was gonna come over and finish the job. That wasn't really the kind of response I was looking for. I told Grandma we were only taking paying jobs at the moment, but maybe we could get back to her later on in the summer. Then I went onto the phone if Ms. Augusta will pick up, and she did, and did my best imitation of Grandma. I guess I'm lucky my voice hasn't changed yet. The VIP lawn service does exceptional work and catered to my every lawn need. Believe it or not, Ms. Augusta bought it. She thanked Grandma for the reference. Ms. Augusta said she'd hire us and that we should come by her house later today to get started. But it's kind of far from my house to Ms. Augusta's, so I asked her if she could come get us. She didn't seem real happy that we didn't have our own transportation, but she said she'd be willing to pick us up if we could be ready at noon. Ms. Augusta came to my house at 12 p.m. in her car, and she asked us where our lawnmower and all our equipment was. I said we didn't actually have any equipment, but that my grandma keeps her side door unlocked and I might be able to sneak in and borrow her mower for a couple hours. I guess Ms. Augusta must have been pretty desperate to get her lawn mowed, because she went along with my plan. Mind if you change the radio station? Luckily, Grandma wasn't home, so it was simple to get the mower out of her house. We rolled it over to Ms. Augusta's yard, and then we were ready to get to work. That's when me and Clementine realized neither one of us had ever actually operated a lawnmower before. So the two of us poked around for a while and tried to figure out how to get the thing started. Unfortunately, when we were checking the mower on its side, the mower deck of the bottom of the mower was already open and all the gasoline was going to spill out onto the grass, but luckily none of them spilled out onto the grass, and we had to go back over to Grandma's to help us close the mower deck of the bottom of the mower. After my grandma helped us close the mower deck of the bottom of the mower, Clementine was checking the lawnmower again and I was looking for the owner's manual for the mower while we were at it, and I found it on the table outside. I tried to read it, but the instructions were written in Spanish. I told Clementine she could have the first crack at the lawn mowing and that I would go sit in a chair by the table outside and start working on our business plan. Clementine didn't like that idea at all. She said this was a partnership and that everything had to be 50-50. I was pretty shocked by this, because I'm the one who came up the idea for the lawn service in the first place, so I was more like the owner than a partner. I told Clementine we needed someone to do the grunt work and someone to handle the money so I didn't get all sweaty. I just want to say for the record that if Clementine ever needs me for a job reference in the future, I'm gonna need to give her a lousy review. The truth is, I don't really need Clementine anyway. If this lawn service business grows the way I think it will, I'm gonna have 100 clones of Clementines working for me. In the meantime, I needed to get Ms. Augusta's lawn mowed. I looked through the manual for a little while longer and then figured out that I needed to pull on this handle attached to a cord, so I tried that. The mower started up right away, and I was off and running. The job actually went a lot quicker after that because I had a lot less lawn to cover. After I was done, I went to the back door to collect my money. The final bill was $23.51, which was $5 plus $18.51 for the time me and Clementine spent designing that book. But Ms. Augusta wouldn't pay. She said our service was lousy and that we hardly mowed any of her lawn. And to make matters worse, she wouldn't give me a ride home. You know, I figured someone might try to stiff us this summer, but I never thought it would be our very first customer. I had to walk home, and by the time I got to my house, I was really mad. I told Dad the whole story about my lawn mowing experience and how Ms. Augusta wouldn't pay me. I figured if I wasn't gonna get paid, I might as well get some free advertising for all my trouble. On the sign that I'm holding it says, "Another great job by VIP Lawn Service." Saturday, Mom's not letting me do anything fun until this fruit smoothie is paid off, so that meant it was up to me to figure out how to earn the cash. I'll tell you who has a lot of money, and that's Daisy. I mean, that kid is rich. A few weeks ago Mom and Dad told Daisy they'd give her a quarter for every time she uses the potty without being asked. So now she carries a treasure chest of money with her at all times. Daisy keeps all her money in a treasure chest on the floor in her room. She's gotta have at least $1,200 in that thing. I've thought about asking Daisy to lend me the money, but I just can't bring myself to do that. I'm pretty sure Daisy charges interest on her loans anyway.
I can get the rest of it to you tomorrow.
I'm trying to figure out a way to earn money without doing any actual work. But when I told Mom what I was thinking, she said I'm just lazy. Okay, so maybe I'm lazy, but it's not really my fault. I've been lazy ever since I was a little kid, and if someone had caught it early on, maybe I wouldn't be the way I am right now. I remember in pre-K, when playtime was over, the teacher would tell everyone to put away their toys, and we would all sing the cleanup song while we did it. Well, I sang the song with everyone else, but I didn't do any of the actual cleaning. Clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up, everybody do your share. So if you want to find somebody to blame for the way I am, I guess you'd have to start with the public education system. Sunday, Mom came into my room this morning and woke me up for church. I was glad to go, because I knew I was gonna have to turn to a higher power to get this fruit smoothie bill paid off. Whenever Grandma needs anything she just prays, and she gets it right away. I think she has a direct pipeline to God or something.
Dear Lord, please let me find my Dollar Savers coupon book.
For some reason I don't have that same kind of pull. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna quit trying. Dear Lord, please let Mr. Smith forget about the money I owe him. And please let me get past the 3rd level of my favorite video game. Amen, and thank you in advance. Today's sermon was called the Sermon on the Mount, and it was about how it's considered famous and provides guidance for living life and making decisions. It includes Jesus' description of the people who will live in the kingdom of heaven, such as the merciful, meek, pure in heart, and peacemakers.
Wow, thanks for cleaning my shoe.
No problem, Liam. They pass the donation basket around like they do every week, and all I could think was how I needed that money a lot more than whoever it was going to. Monday, my birthday's coming up this weekend, and it can't get here quick enough for me. This year I'm gonna have a family party. I'm still really tired with Clementine for bailing out on our lawn care business, so I don't want her thinking she can come over and eat my birthday cake. Plus, I've learned my lesson about friend parties. When you have a friend party, all your guests think they have the right to play with your presents. And every time I have a friend party, Mom invites her friends' kids, so I end up with a bunch of people at my party I barely even know. I'm just glad I'm not on the swim team this summer. Last year I had to practice on my birthday, and Mom dropped me off at the pool. So when it comes to your birthday, I've learned it's best to just keep kids out of the equation. Mom said I could have a family party as long as I promised not to do my usual with the birthday cards. That stinks, because I have a great system for reading cards. I put it in a neat pile, and then I unfold it and then I read what it says on there. I've been doing a lot of thinking about what I want for my birthday this year. What I really want is a dog. I've been asking for a dog for the past 3 years, but Mom says we have to wait until Daisy's completely potty trained before we get one. Well, with the potty training racket Daisy's got going on, that could take forever. The thing is, I know that Dad wants a dog, too. He used to have one when he was a kid. I figured all Dad needed was a little nudge, and on Christmas last year I saw my chance. My Uncle Felix and his wife stopped by our house, and they brought their dog, Bandit, with them. I asked Uncle Felix if he wouldn't mind hinting to Dad that he should get us a dog. But the way Uncle Felix did it probably set my dog getting campaign back by 5 years.
A boy needs a dog, Boris.
The other thing I have no chance of getting for my birthday is a cell phone, and I can thank Caillou and Classic Caillou for that. Thursday, I asked Mom to take me to the barbershop where Dad and Grandpa get their haircut again today, even though I didn't really need a haircut. I just felt like catching up on the shampoo I've gotten for the first time I went to this barbershop.
Rosie.
King, my barbershop guy, said he heard from a guy who knows Mr. Smith that me and Clementine had a falling out. Friday, today I was watching TV, minding my own business, when I heard a knock at the front door. Mom said there was a friend there to see me, so I thought it must be Clementine coming to apologize. But it wasn't Clementine.
Hello, friend.
After I recovered from my initial shock, I went back in the house and closed the door. I started to panic because I didn't know what little Bill was doing at my front door. After a few minutes went by, I looked out through a window, and little Bill was still standing there. Mom said she invited little Bill over. She said I've seemed lonely ever since I had that fight with Clementine, and she thought she'd set up a play date with little Bill. But if he was misbehaving then he would leave and be grounded. See, this is why I should never tell Mom about my personal business. This little Bill thing was a total disaster. I've heard that a vampire or a kid vampire can't come inside your house unless you invite him in, and I'll bet it's the same kind of deal with little Bill.
Mind if I borrow some flour?
Sure, it's back in the kitchen. Hey, wait a second. So now I've got a thing to worry about, little Bill. And if I had to choose the one to get me, it would be little Bill. Saturday, today was my birthday, and I guess things went more or less like I expected. The relatives started showing up around 2 p.m. I asked Mom to invite many people as possible so I could maximize my gift potential, and I got a pretty good turnout. Gifts go on the table in the kitchen. I like to cut to the chase on my birthday and get right to the gifts. So I told everyone to gather in the living room. I took my time with the cards, just like Mom asked. It was a little painful, but I got a good haul, so it was worth it.
When I saw it in the store, I knew it was just perfect.
Wow, Aunt Hannah, this is really neat. On the card it said, a special greeting and a how do you do? For a special nephew, by golly, that's you. Happy birthday, Aunt Hannah. Unfortunately, as soon as I collected my checks, Mom confiscated the money to pay off Mr. Smith. I went into the living room and I met Dad in there waiting for me to get into the living room, and then I chose a present while Mom was getting the cake to put it on the kitchen table in the kitchen. The present I chose was a Nokia 3310 blue Nokia. It was from Dad. The dimensions were 113mm by 48mm by 22mm and the mass were 133 grams. I was thinking a Nokia phone would be normal dimensions and normal mass, but the dimensions and the mass were not normal, and I've never seen those kind of dimensions and mass like this. When I looked more closely, I found out it wasn't a smartphone. The compatible networks were GSM and TDMA. And it came out in September 1, 2000, so this is 23 years old. Mom told everyone it was time to go into the kitchen to have some cake. Unfortunately, Uncle Felix's dog, Bandit, had beaten us to it. I was hoping Mom would go out and get me a new cake, but she just took a knife and cut away the parts the dog didn't touch. Monday, I even bought a journal so I could keep track of everything my fish does during the day. I have to admit, though, I'm starting to have a little trouble filling up the pages. I asked Mom and Dad if we could buy one of those aquariums and get a ton of fish to keep my little lady company. But Dad said that aquariums cost money and maybe I could ask for one for Christmas. See, this is what stinks about being a kid. You only get 2 shots at getting stuff you want, and that's on Christmas and your birthday. And then when one of those days does come, your parents mess things up and buy you a Nokia. Well, I don't know if the woman had to go to some special nanny school or something, but that's the kind of job I was born to do. I just need to figure out how to get myself in line for that job when the nanny retires. Your house is a wreck, your kids have no manners, and, hey, Mr. Brown, you're not going out in that long sleeve button-down shirt, that vest, and that bow tie. Are you? A few years ago I started collecting my personal mementos, like book reports and old toys and stuff like that, because when my museum opens I want to make sure it's packed with interesting things from my life. I'll probably have to fly in private planes, because if I fly on public planes, I'll get really annoyed when people in the back try to get into my first-class bathroom.
The bathroom in the back is full, and little Lucas really has to.
Hey, whoa. Another thing famous people have to deal with is that their younger siblings end up getting famous because they're related. Tuesday, I don't know if the Wonky Donkey is funny or not for other people because, to be honest with you, most of them don't even make sense to a person my age. But me and Dad don't like the Wonky Donkey. Anyway, the Damian Wayne is difficult for any hero to adjust to. Fans come out of the woodwork and make a big stink. The last time they saw what was happening outside from the Daily News building, 8 busloads that were ladies from Fairmont, San Francisco showed up at the Daily News building in Financial District, San Francisco, California, were holding signs that said, "Cancel Damian Wayne is difficult for any hero to adjust to." These ladies didn't like that comic. Sunday, today was Father's Day, and Dad put the box on the rug, and believe it or not, there was a dog in there. Dad told Mom she should go to the mall to buy a dog bowl and choose a color for the dog bowl, and the color was light red. Wednesday, we finally came up a name for our dog and the dog's name was Bailey. I was really happy when we got our dog at first, but now I'm starting to have second thoughts. The dog's actually been driving me crazy. A few nights ago an ad came on TV, and it showed some gophers popping in and out of their holes. Bailey seemed pretty interested in that, so Dad said,
"Where are the gophers, Bailey? Where are they, girl?"
That got Bailey all riled up, and she started barking at the TV. Now Bailey barks at the TV constantly, and the only thing that gets her to stop is when the ad with the gophers comes back on. The only person Bailey really likes is Mom, even though she barely pays her any attention. And I can tell that's starting to drive Dad a little nuts.
Get down, Bailey.
I think Bailey is just more of a ladies' woman. So I guess that's something else we have in common. July, Monday, today was the 4th of July, and it started out pretty terrible. When I got to the pool, I tried to get through the locker room as quickly as I could. Seriously, I wish those people would just take a shower at home before they came to the pool. Because once you see someone like that, you can never look at them the same way again.
Mind if I borrow this pool chair for a second?
When I was younger, I used to just go swim in the small pool during the 15-minute rest break, but that was before I knew what went on in there. The only area of the normal pool that wasn't a complete madhouse was the deep end, and that's where the diving boards are. Luckily, the fireworks display at the city over by the trees of the city park. It was a little hard to see over the trees, but at that point I don't think anyone really cared. Tuesday, I'm sure back to school ads are gonna start popping up all over the place now, and the next thing you know, Mom is gonna be telling me it's time to go clothes shopping. And with Mom, that's an all-day affair.
These saddle shoes are on sale.
So I asked Mom if Dad could take me clothes shopping instead, and she said yes. I think she saw it as some kind of father-daughter bonding opportunity. But I told Dad he could just go without me and pick out whatever he wanted. Well, that was a dumb reason, because Dad went to a pharmacy to get some medicine, then he would do all of his shopping at the pharmacy. Wednesday, every fourth time, I'd end up in front of where Mom was. And let me tell you, it's not easy to be smooth when your mother is sitting 5 feet away. Monday, when we got to the town pool, Mom said I had to take Daisy with me through the locker room. She said she's getting too old to go through the locker room with an adult, so I went through the locker room with Daisy. August, Tuesday, we ran into the Smiths at the supermarket today. Me and Clementine haven't spoken to each other in over a month, so it was kind of awkward. Ms. Clementine said they were buying groceries for their trip to San Francisco next week. That kind of irritated me because that's where my family was supposed to go this summer. But then Ms. Clementine said something that really threw me for a loop.
How would Rosie like to join us?
Mr. Smith didn't look too thrilled with that idea, but before he could speak up, Mom chimed in.
Why, Rosie would love to.
Monday, I knew I made a mistake coming to San Francisco trip when I saw where we were staying. After dinner, Ms. Clementine called us all into the dining room to play a game. I was hoping we were gonna play a game that was a card game, but the Smiths have their own idea of fun. The Smiths played a game called I Love You Because.
Let's play I Love You Because.
Yay.
I'll start. I'll choose Clementine. I love you because you're silly, and you make me laugh. Okay, Clementine's turn. I'll choose me.
I love you because you help me keep my body clean.
Okay, Rosie's turn. I'll choose my husband.
I love you because your hair is really because there was only one bed, so I told Clementine we could make a deal. We'd flip a coin, and one lady would get the bed and the other would sleep on the floor. But Clementine took a look at the floor and decided she didn't want to risk it. I decided I wasn't willing to sleep on the floor, either. So I got into bed with Clementine and just stayed as far away from her as possible. I've never gone this long without TV or computers or video games, and I'm starting to feel kind of fear. When Mr. Smith works late at night on his laptop, I sneak downstairs and watch him just to get a glimpse of the outside world, and I already saw him picking his nose. When Mr. Smith got up to use the bathroom, I jumped at my chance. And then I sent Mom an email, and the email was, "Help, get me out of here, these people are driving me crazy. Send.
I have 949 emails.
When I came downstairs for breakfast this morning, Mr. Smith didn't look too happy to see what was on his MacBook. So they called my parents, and 2 hours later Dad was at the cabin to pick me up and take me home, and I got grounded, and that was the first time I've ever gotten grounded.